name's Chris Orbesen. I'm with Ortel Technologies. I'm the electrical contractor for the group. Sometimes.
Stop this nose.
But today I'm going to talk a little bit about safety. I think you guys know enough about me. 4 kids, I live in Clearwater. Takes me a long time to drive here every week. But I enjoy all you guys and I love you like family. The main thing I want to talk to you about is Joe's not here, so I can say this is one of his properties. That is a GFI breaker. Everyone thinks these are lifesavers, but these things pop all the time. And when they get older, and you can see some of them are ivory, but they even get yellower, you think that it's just getting old from age. It's not. It's actually baking from inside. And eventually, this will happen. Because you keep resetting the breaker, turn the microwave on. Hopefully it's not on a microwave breaker, but turn the toaster oven on or anything. Pops, reset it, pops. Well, you think it's popping all the time. It's popping because the wires are so hot inside here, it can't handle it. And as you keep resetting it, it might be arcing inside, starting this blazer right here. And you wonder why this doesn't start a house fire. Well, it should not start a house fire if it blazes out because it should be in a box. And the box should keep enough oxygen out of it with the correct cover plate to keep it from actually flaming out. Not that that does not happen. A lot of times a do-it-yourself guy will want to put a receptacle in, might not be a GFI or just a standard receptacle, and an easier way of doing it is just to run a wire down the wall and cut. We call it cut-in box, which is an open back box. An open back box does not secure this the way it should be. An open back box, if you open up the wall, you take this out, you look in, and you see the drywall behind it, you know that's not correct. If this thing arced and flamed like this in a box that some do-it-yourself guy just cut in, this would have gone right up the wall and it could have started a fire in the house. So do-it-yourself stuff is great. I mean, everyone, if you can do it yourself, do it yourself. It saves you tons of money, but just do it right. Another thing I noticed about this right here, this wire right here, these usually are typically ran with number 12 wire. This is number 14. So this one right here, I did this myself. I took it out and there was a load of wires wrapped together, all twisted, which means one hot, meaning coming from the panel, came into this, and then it was connected to like 4 other locations shooting through the house, all running off of this. So obviously, this is going to be overused and deteriorating. This is electrical tape. Just thought you should. This is a typical jack that you see, or receptacle that you see people buy when they're doing their receptacles in their homes. This is fine, it works great. Always use the screws. If you guys are doing it yourself, use the screws. The silver screw goes to the white wire, the gold screw goes to the black wire. That's very important. Another thing is if you see these little holes in the back of this right here, these holes are called for back, our term is backstabbing. Backstabbing is when you strip the wire and you don't want to wrap it around and might not have the tooling on you at the time, but you can strip the wire about 1/2 inch and you can just jam it in there. That is not the correct way to do it. That's a fast fix, but from now on, we won't pass any inspections if we have backstab receptacles. When the receptacle powers on and powers off, it cycles electricity. Electricity is heat. When it recycles heat, many times this starts breaking down. And these break down much faster than a piece of copper wrapped around a screw and torqued down onto the side of the receptacle. So if you pull your receptacles off and you see that they're backstabbed, do yourself a favor, pull it off, clip it, make sure the power's off, clip it, and then strip it and put it on the screws. You'll be fine. This right here is our latest expensive device that's required by code for electrical panel swaps. Sometimes you want to do a panel swap and it's $1,600, $1,750, $1,900, depending on the size of the panel and how far away is it for us or anything else. This right here, if they want to do a fully permitted panel swap, this is going to be required. It's a big one for pools, so we don't really see the double too often. This is a big example. It's got the pigtail on the back of it. It's got double neutral, and this is called an arc fault breaker. And this takes the place of a GFI in the panel. These regular breakers, $12, $15 for regular breaker. This thing, $85. So if I gotta put 15 of these in your panel, you know that your panel that was all of a sudden, you know, it used to be only $1,800 per panel. Well, now you want a permit, and now it's gonna be another $700 just in breakers on top of that. We don't charge more for labor, it's just materials. The other thing is if you get a panel change and you want it permitted, which is fine, permits are good for the homeowners, you know, make sure that we're doing our jobs right. But just know that when we pull the permit on that panel, the inspector is now gonna look at that panel, and any wire we touched in that panel has to be up to code throughout the house. And that also includes smoke detectors. Most of our smoke detectors in our houses are just battery operated. You stick them up there, you buy it from Home Depot, stick it up there, you're good to go. Not anymore. If the inspector comes in there, you're gonna have a smoke detector in each bedroom, and then outside in the hallway, outside of those bedrooms, and then depending on the size, maybe another one somewhere else. But typically you have 3 smoke detectors in a home, and they all have to be hardwired. Not only hardwired, but they have to be daisy chained to each other. So if one smoke detector goes off in one bedroom, they're gonna go off in the rest of the house. So that's a new requirement as well, and that adds to the panel change. So it's no longer just a rip and replace on a panel. It's a rip and replace. It's new smoke detectors up in the attic, rewiring where it needs to be done, and then you have to do the arc fault breakers in it, and it all has to be inspected by an inspector. That's when it gets a lot more expensive than your typical. How come panels are so expensive now? Oh, that's what it is. How much time do I have?
9 seconds.
9 seconds, perfect, man. I love you guys. What's a good referral? Anything except I got one fixture I need changed out. I don't have, not that I don't have the time, not that I don't have the love for you. I just can't afford to send a guy to go do a 1-hour call, you know, in Port Richey for something that is so small that I'm gonna end up paying this guy, obviously you guys know I didn't do the math, half a day for him to drive there and drive back, and then I can only get max out at $200 for the first hour in a service call. Well, I'm pretty much not even breaking even. So everyone thinks everyone's so expensive, but if you figure it out, that guy is almost $175, $180 for the day. So you almost have to charge more as it is right now.
I'll do it for you.
Okay. Or Will could do. Any other questions?
What's a mini split?
What's a mini split? Oh, good question. It's the air conditioners you see in a lot of European hotels these days. It's just an easy device. It's rectangular. Damn, in the room when we were over there, remember the thing that got so cool? That was the mini split. They're just easy. They just
Almost on that panel. Awesome.
Yep,
Well,
thanks,
great job.
Chris.
I'm on the roll. You want me to do this?